a culture that is used to obey everything without discussing. They're gonna start doing whatever they're told to do, even when they have the option not to, because culturally that's how they function. The culture that is suspicious of everything. Look, in Italy nobody's using ChatGPT because whatever is being proposed by the government to the citizen is never a good thing to do. So whenever something comes, but strangely, I talk with a lot of friends. There's no, I'm not interested. You're crazy. You're going to be left behind because people is afraid AI is taking your job. It's not true. Who's taking your job is somebody else that is using AI.
Welcome to the Marketing Boost Solutions Podcast, the #1 source for proven solutions to all your marketing challenges.
Folks, do you ever wonder how emerging technologies like AI and blockchain are reshaping the very foundation of our world? Today's guest has been at the forefront of that revolution since before most of us even knew what blockchain was. I'm excited to welcome Roberto Capodieci, an Italian entrepreneur, university lecturer, author, and true pioneer in decentralization. He sold his first video game at the age of 10, discovered blockchain back in 2009, and has since spent more than a decade building groundbreaking platforms across finance, government, and Web 3.0. As the founder of Blockchain Zoo, Roberto has helped businesses worldwide harness decentralized systems while also serving as the CTO and advisor to multiple innovative companies. He's fluent in multiple languages, has written books on blockchain, including one he gives away for free, and continues to push the boundaries of how technology can drive trust, transparency, and transformation. In this episode, we'll dive into how AI is changing the world, what's next for blockchain beyond cryptocurrency, and why emerging technologies can drive trust, transparency, and transformation. So let's buckle up. This is going to be a fascinating ride into the future of innovation with Roberto Capodieci. Roberto, say hello.
Hello, thank you for having me here.
No, my pleasure. And I'm interested in this topic. It's mind-boggling how this whole blockchain technology came about, which I'd like to know a little bit about that and where it's going and how it's affecting society and whether we'll all be voting from our phones via blockchain and stuff like that in the future instead of paper. And anyway, let's dig into it, starting with tell us about how you built a video game at 10 years old or sold it at the age of 10. Tell us about that story. Let's go way back into your selling of the first video game.
Right. So practically as a little kid, I had a very, I was repellent to the public school system. I didn't really like it. I love to invent things, whatever was mechanics. My parents were bringing me pieces of engines and whatever to dismantle. And this really, they saw something there, and which is something I appreciate a lot. But I study electronics. And at the same time, computer. And with electronics, if you make a mistake, it was taking hours to unsolder something and replace. With computer, you just fix the comma and it start running again. So I choose the route. And it was something totally new. I mean, we're talking about 1979, 1980s. So at the time, there was these small computers, and I started learning by looking around. All material was in English, and I was an Italian kid, so I had also this language barrier. In fact, I would pronounce English as well, pronouncing Italian was very funny. But, one thing after the other, and start connecting with other people that had the same passion, I learned enough. And by age 10, I managed to develop this nice, I mean, if you see it today, it would be horrible, but at the time it was nice. And it was this game about helping this lady cross the road and not be hit by a car, and then, driving around. So it's something simple but cool. so much that I start selling it, and it gave me the confidence to keep going in this direction, which has been, in fact, what I've been doing in my life. I actually end up developing more serious video games. There was a moment where every comic booklet or stories or characters had their own video games, and we've been asked with a small company set up by an Italian company that was the leader in publishing comics to make the video games for comics. So we start doing that as well. It's been quite an exciting experience.
That's a cool story. So by age 14, you were a millionaire and so on.
Well, that's a very strange thing. There is a very funny story around this. Truly, I was making a huge amount of money, also because there was no law in intellectual property at the time. So outside university, you find photocopies, a shop that will make photocopy of any books like this, like it was nothing. And software was even less understood by the government. So I was downloading software from Germany, from the United States via modem. There was no internet, and reselling this floppy disk that I was buying for very little money to a lot of money because they had the software inside. And there was a lot of kids that come into my house. It's Roberto home. They enter, they come out very happy 5 minutes later. It was full of money. My parents thought I was selling drugs because the behavior, the pattern was identical. And funny enough, they start complaining with friends. So the rumors in the city spread around of this false rumor because I was absolutely doing nothing illegal. So much that somebody approached me asking me if I wanted to be part of a larger business, to which I contacted a police officer and they did an investigation. They arrested a lot of people to this hint that I had. And then I started working with them to make software to understand the criminal organization. So it's been an interesting accident that made me friends with this very special unit at the police in Italy. They were doing particular kind of operation because they were just analyzing phone record by hands with a highlighter and calling numbers and who has the other numbers. You crazy? Use a computer in seconds. You do everything, and that
Wow.
started this other career that I have in consulting law enforcement, which eventually with the year grow on more important things than just phone records, but has been quite interesting.
Wow, that was way before the internet, so that's pretty
Yep.
amazing. When you discovered black blockchain
Yeah.
in 2009, before most anybody else was certainly nobody was heard of it or was talking about it, how did you come, bump into blockchain? What was it back then compared to what it is today? I got
Right. As most things in life that are amazing, they happen by chance. It's not something that was planned. I was doing something else. I was interested in peer-to-peer network, which are distributed network of computers with a particular kind of protocol that was used in a system called BitTorrent. Many people know BitTorrent because many used to download music and movies through this protocol.
oh
And
yeah.
I wanted to modify this protocol to use it as a file system, so where you can save your files in a network or computer. And I was talking with other people that were interested in peer-to-peer network in what it was called Usenet. Usenet was a set of forum in the internet that they used the mail protocol where people were discussing one with the other. And in this group, somebody sent me this software that was the core node of Bitcoin, practically. And because it was a peer-to-peer system, it was doing other things. So I look at it, interesting, but now what I wanted to do, I was chasing a completely different goal. In fact, I remember that it was really the day zeros of Bitcoin. I made 6 blocks, and there were 50 Bitcoin per blocks that I worked at the time. So I had 300 Bitcoin. And then I formatted everything and I threw away the computer because it wasn't. I sold those the computer where the 300 Bitcoin were after formatting it because they were worth nothing and there was not what I was looking for. But I remain connected with this other, application of the peer-to-peer network. And a couple of years later, I start doing a white paper for document management in the finance, for signing a legal agreement through this protocol here, and it was 2013, 14, 15, and then was the moment where a lot of other things are born with blockchain, right?
Let me ask you this question about cryptocurrencies and blockchain. For example, Bitcoin is a fixed number of coin, from what I understand,
Mhm.
250,000 coins or what have you. But what happens to the coins like the ones you described? You had several Bitcoins on computers. You sold them. You gave them away. They weren't worth anything at the time. Many other people have, have blockchain or cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, and then lose their passwords, forget where the what how to access them. What happens to all those as that number of 250 is limited,
Pretty
and
much
who and
is creating more scarcity, so is raising the value of the single coin, right? Because with quantum computing, maybe we're gonna recover those, but by then there is gonna be a change in protocol for which it will be difficult to do also that with quantum computers. In fact, there are plenty of Bitcoin that are never moved from day zero. So there are many people in this situation. That's
yeah.
that's how the protocol. But what is important to understand? There are three things that is important to clarify. First, that blockchain is not crypto. Crypto is a use case for blockchain. Okay, but we can do many other things with blockchain that are not crypto, and the tainted name of the crypto for scam and other things should not scare people from the technology. You
No,
know, there are a
yeah, I
lot
get
of
it. So
bad stuff done with technology that is innocent. Technology is now, somebody that can decide to do good or bad things. So, who does scam are people. Obviously, when there is a realm where people knows less, is less prepared, then it's easier to scam people because people get confused. But there are plenty more scam in the outside the crypto world than in the crypto world, right?
yeah,
Right. Second thing, what is the power of blockchain? Because this sometimes people confuse. They have no clear idea what is blockchain bringing in, and like what is Web3 for real? Because many people think Web3 is the metaverse, but it's not actually, right? So blockchain as in the moment that we are in the digital age, if you want, where the biggest commodity is information today, right? We are monetizing information more than anything else, if you want. The big limitation we had was that the digital age doesn't have singularity. So a JPEG of a beautiful piece of art can be copied and pasted millions of times. You don't know the original anymore. An MP3 with a song can be copied and pasted many times as well, right? So we didn't have something that can maintain unicity of an original piece, even copies that are there. But if you think I cannot copy and paste my Bitcoin, give to you a copy of my Bitcoin. If I could do that, Bitcoin would be worth zero tomorrow, right? Once I give you my Bitcoin, I don't have it anymore. And this is the big miracle. Means that I can put the title of ownership of my car in the blockchain. And once I give it to you, the car is yours. I don't have it anymore. I cannot copy and paste like if it was a PDF file and pretend that it is still mine, right? So the big power of blockchain is to bring in this world that is getting more and more digital, a guarantee of unicity, of originality and singularity of digital data, okay, and coupled with the fact that you can cryptographically sign your identity, also the ownership of these assets, okay. And this is the beautiful, what should make people excited about the technology, besides making a lot of money with cryptocurrency or other things, is the fact that we can move toward a world where we can guarantee the ownership, the originality, etc., etc. Think about all the deep fake they're doing with AI. That I could be just generated by AI in this moment, somebody pretending to be me, etc., etc. With the same technology that makes a blockchain, I can guarantee that this is actually me because I'm signing that it's me now talking to you, and that signature cannot be faked on the context of the information that is the video streaming that I'm doing or the video recording that we're doing. So this is a very important thing to understand about blockchain. That's why it's powerful. That's why now all the spotlight is in AI. Is the moment the real project with blockchain are done.
hmm
Follow the audit trail of mechanical party machinery that go around the world, warranty cards that are
Let
digital
me let
and
me
they are
let me
guaranteed.
let me stop you there because this is I've
Right.
got a lot of questions on this some of these outside uses other than Bitcoin. But we'll be right back with more questions for Roberto on blockchain in just a minute. Don't go away.
It's time to wow, surprise, and impress your clients with the most powerful customer draw card available anywhere. The Marketing Boost Solutions Show is brought to you by Marketing Boost, where you can get valuable travel and restaurant incentives to drive your leads from prospects to paying customers. Now you can offer complimentary hotel stays in over 130 destinations worldwide. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com and try it for free right now.
You just heard from our main sponsor, marketingboost.com. Folks, if you're in business for yourself, if you're looking for ways to wow, surprise, and delight your clients, you need to check out Marketing Boost. We're the most affordable way that you can provide amazing rewards, perks, and incentives for your clients to, again, earn, to build loyalty and reward them for taking actions with your company, such as showing up for the webinar, staying till the end, booking a Zoom call with you or your sales staff. Million ways that we teach you within our community of entrepreneurs of over 33,000 entrepreneurs in our Facebook group and thousands of that are using Marketing Boost incentives to build their businesses. So check it out. If you're looking for more leads and how to close more sales, check out marketingboost.com. Back with Roberto and talking about blockchain technology, how it's so much more than just cryptocurrencies and and the future of blockchain and how it's likely going to change societies and how we manage all kinds of stuff from government documents, titles, deeds. Let's continue down that, Roberto. What do you see as the some of the how blockchain can change industries and societies?
Right, in a moment where it's difficult and more difficult to understand the truth from things that are being made up, I think how easy it is to generate a photography that is 99% real, of situation with people and things that are never happen. I imagine how in the past with a photo you can get somebody arrested because there was a clear proof of something happening, and today is something that will be worth nothing. Even a video is going to be worth nothing, right? It's important to guarantee the originality and authenticity of things, of our persona, our data, etc., etc. So for this is one of the use cases where it's very important to use tools like blockchain, cryptographic signature, etc., etc. And second is because it's a system that manage data without the need of a third party. Say that a group of people, a group of company, a group of somebody want to have an information system to manage information that can verify whatever they're doing one with the other. As of today, they need to elect a third party to hold the data for all of them, and they need to trust that this third party with holding their data and not falsifying them or etc., right? And hardly is going to be one of them because you may have a competitive advantage of looking in the data, moving the data, etc., etc. With a blockchain, and thanks to the protocol of a blockchain, there is no need to elect a third party. There is no need to trust blindly others because whatever goes in is guaranteed by mathematics, which is the beauty of it. So, in terms of data truth management, in terms of connecting between two parties without middlemen, this is the tool that shape and is going to shape a good part of things in the future. Obviously, there are people in position that are against such a technology because we're going to create issue in the way they operate, but eventually people is
Yeah.
going to adopt the system that they understand is more valid and more trustworthy.
What do you think is the timeline before it becomes mainstream? I mean, the technology's been out, like you say, since 2009, and yet it's still not implemented in controlling documents, like you say, like your driver's license, your deed from your home, the
Mm.
title of your car, the your voting. One thing around the world, right? Be is to be if the technology was used to know who is who and who is voting for, democracies and
Absolutely.
governments, etc. And yet it's not being used, or at least that I'm aware of, it's not being used in too many of these types of opportunities to really lock down and control who's doing what. What do you think the timeline will be before it's accepted and used on a more society changing?
Right. So the voting case is a very interesting aspect, mostly considering what happened in the United States. If you go to any other country where voting is always under a big question mark, the machines have been, tampered with, or the counting are tampered, so you never know. Obviously, if there was a system that guarantee 100% security and transparency, like for example, you vote with a fingerprint, so you cannot bring the deceased grandma fingerprint to vote, another one more vote. This will create issue for a lot of people that is gaming the system, right? So he has to start, if he's starting from the top to the bottom, he has to start from somebody that has very strong, clean, good principles. And there are places where this are being applied. Obviously, regulator need to catch up in order to allow, certain technology to be used for more delicate aspect. But there are a lot of ongoing implementation in the world that they use blockchain for real estate, assetization of a large real estate complex. There are financial uses, obviously. There are, I myself, I consulted on very interesting projects done to do the warranty card, for example, for clothing, do the, support card for parts. There is company that make parts. These parts are installed in many different kind of mechanical machineries, and they lose control of where these things go. So with just a small QR code, they can track who is working on the parts, how they fixed it. They have a means to get in contact with these people without having to have a system that people need to log into, etc., because they use the blockchain. So there are, for example, a company that makes pipes. Pipes need to have a very specific diameter, thickness, materials, etc., etc. So they just print every time there is a specific order that is unique. They print a small QR code along the pipe, and when somebody is doing maintenance and they need to order an identical pipe, they scan the QR code and they can see exactly, how it's made, so they can place an identical order, and this done with blockchain as well. So there are, many in supply chain, in many other industry, loyalty points for franchise, etc., etc. They use blockchain. Sometimes it's so much in behind the scene that people don't even know there is blockchain behind, right? So
Right, right. That makes sense to me. That there's lots of uses going on that none of us know that this QR code has anything to do with
right.
blockchain to control it, and so on. Huh. Uh, so we're in the middle of an AI boom, and how do you see AI and blockchain working together to transform how we live and work?
This is a very interesting point. Not much blockchain in the core concept of blockchain, but AI should not be in a data center managed by a small group of people, because we are relying on AI, on what AI tells us to do more and more every day. So if we were thinking like we're gullible as humans, right?
Oh yeah.
And a brain that is 100 times faster. Okay, now with an IQ superior to ours, and with the knowledge of all the planet, because even if you take a person that has a 170 IQ, for example, it doesn't mean he has all the knowledge of the world, that he doesn't speak 100 different languages, he cannot reason on the speed of light, right? And so if you think that we are very intelligent and fast in reasoning, maybe the trees, like the plants, the trees, are actually intelligent, but they move at the speed that is super slow, and to us they look like vegetable, right? Like somebody, but maybe they are talking the reason, and to them we are the super fast, intelligent that they cannot even communicate with us because we are so fast, right? So we get to the point that we cannot even communicate with AI if AI was not dumbing down enough to communicate with us, right?
Wow.
And
Yeah.
you don't really know which is the end goal. So, for this reason, to answer your initial question, an instrument like this in the hand of a small company, even super wealthy, but not made by a lot of people, with no regulation that force them to do certain things, is a weapon. It's super dangerous, in my opinion. It's very useful weapon if you want, because we all use it. But
Right.
an AI developed on top of a peer-to-peer network, where everybody can participate with a node with the particular specialization, and where democratically an answer is collected between many, where the peer-to-peer network makes the same synapses that a brain will make to do a reasoning. This will make an AI 100% democratic, right? In terms of there is no censorship. You decide what to see and not to see. There is no control from behind. So it's the same paradigm of blockchain. Blockchain doesn't protect the user unless there is a protocol that is studied to do so. Is the user that has to take the responsibility of what they are doing. Uh, in the same way with something like this, you need to be responsible how you use the thing. So it is interesting and difficult, but I am on the opinion that you punish a criminal for doing something wrong, but you don't put the system so that things cannot be achieved or known or seen, because then you can potentially be a criminal, right? The preventing censorship that there is in many areas in the world, I think this is a little bit wrong, meaning don't having trust on people. So in a system that is open, where the responsibility falls into the consumer, the user, where the blockage of no interest information is done in the last 9 miles, and that would be an amazing AI. So everybody can chip in with power, everybody can consume and decide how to maneuver the data that is produced by the system, and there will be nobody will be able to control this thing
Right.
at the same time. You.
I had never thought of it really that much as to the power of who is developing the AI, whether it's uh, Microsoft or it's Elon Musk, or who's putting in the data that the rest of us are asking questions and getting responses, and we're controlled by whoever uploaded the data and is controlling it.
We're been past the time of uploading the data. Now there is a learning process. The truth is that they don't even know how it's working. So
Wow.
nobody knows how. That's and one of the OpenAI, ChatGPT are the most famous and known AI company and model, but the second most important is Anthropic, and they have an AI is called Claude. And this company, Anthropic, takes it a lot less like a business and more like a research. And they publish a lot of paper, they do a lot of interesting experiments, they document, they're very transparent in things. And clearly they state, not that it was a mystery to me before, but clearly they state that it is not very well understood how the mechanics of an AI work, because the excuse that they know which is the next best word to put after the previous one is a huge BS, because you don't get this result with that, you don't get this change of opinion, this and it's scary by the point that you don't want this machine to be actually sentient. You don't want the idea that you are interacting with somebody that has a feeling, has the capacity. They're mimicking us a lot, but who
Wow.
knows.
Folks, when we come back, we'll talk to Roberto about his businesses, Blockchain Zoo, and a lot more. But I want to take a moment and tell you about one of the new products I'm launching called trustbyreviews.com. Trustbyreviews.com. When we built Marketing Boost in the very early days, it came about as an accident, an idea that we needed reviews, we needed testimonials for Marketing Boost, rather for one of our other travel companies we were building, and we couldn't get any reviews. We couldn't get video testimonials like we wanted. So we came up with an idea to offer an incentive, a reward, if people would go the extra mile to give us a video testimonial. Before we knew it, that website became one of the most video testimonials on the planet with over 30,000 happy customers bragging about the resorts and hotels we were promoting. Well, Trust by Reviews now is built to help you do the same. Be able to solicit reviews and control and grow your online reputation. This platform will allow you to encourage people to give their honest feedback of your company. And if they're giving you a 3, 4, or 5 star review, we're going to encourage them to post that review on multiple third party review sites like Trustpilot, Google Reviews, Facebook, SiteJabber, and many more. That way, you can have one happy customer potentially post reviews on a half a dozen different third party review sites, lifting you in Google searches as a trusted brand. So, check out trustbyreviews.com and see how you can affordably control your online reputation and grow a constant flow of video and written reviews across the internet. So we're back with Roberto. Um, Back in 2017, you launched a company called Blockchain Zoo. What was your
Mhm.
vision for that company and how has it evolved? What does it do?
Right. So at the time, I was ready to retire. I was well off. I didn't need to do anything else. But there was nobody able to build a blockchain solution. Very few people. A lot of people were able to talk about it, to go in conference and speech, but people that can actually do were very few. And I was submerged of requests to do work more and more by people that did what were called ICO. So they were collecting money from people promising a beautiful blockchain project, and the money collection was going all right, and then had no means and no capacity to actually build the project. So I started collecting a lot of these clients, say, and we implemented white labeling a lot of projects for all these people that collected fortunes, and were unable to deliver to their clients. So ideally the beginning was the capacity to vouch for other consultants. So it was supposed to be like a collection of a consultant on blockchain, and so you come there and we can give you the correct person to to help you. But we start collecting work, so we start hiring developers, and we became like a software house specialized in layer one solution. I at the time in 2014-15 I was already part of another project that was a new technology to do blockchain. It was called proof of stake. Has been the first thing. It is before Ethereum even existed, and pretty much that's what we've been doing for several years. And then COVID came on. We were so much a boutique shop, so no possibility to travel, to go around. We start investing my personal money plus some money of the company to do a project for a new innovative kind of protocol for blockchain, which was called proof of participation. And we implemented the full system. It worked beautiful, but we made a mistake of not having a value point when bringing it out to the public. It was just another blockchain, but it could do so much more. So at the point I shut everything down because I was afraid to waste the opportunity waiting for the right moment. It's still innovative today compared to the technology that are out. Unfortunately, being focused on the money making of cryptocurrency has slowed down the evolution of the technology, right?
Mm.
While we're more centered into decentralized applications and other things. So we start doing just consulting, a lot of consulting, creating development teams when needed by client, waiting the right moment to come out with this intellectual property that we put together and costed a lot of money, actually, personally as
Mm.
well.
You've written several books on blockchain, one of which you give away for free. Why do you feel it's important to educate the world about this technology and what book do you give away free? How can people find it?
Right. I mean, writing book is not my business model. It's not the way that I make money. The book can be downloaded in PDF from bcz.bz/vol number one in digit. Um, it is 260 pages book. Is interesting because every page has a QR code that allow people to go in an online discussion about what is written. So it's a book that bring together people that are reading it. And well, interestingly enough, is already 4 years old, the book, I guess 3 years old, but is still very actual and present all the different kind of technology in this world. I do believe it's important to understand what we use when we use technology. There was a kid that was using Facebook in his cell phone and says, but you have internet connection. So, no, I don't have internet. Well, you're using Facebook. Yeah, this is Facebook. It's not internet. Because the disconnect about the understanding of how things work, sometimes it can become so big. So, I guess as humans, we should be informed on what we do and what we use. So this is a good reason for giving away a nice book. But if people want to spend money, you can find it in Amazon and pay money for it as well. No problem.
We'll have in the show notes below, we'll have assuming you're going to give that to me, Robert, we'll put that in the link to how you can get the book for free or how
Absolutely.
you can buy it on Amazon. uh, what's some of the biggest misconceptions that most of us have about blockchain and decentralization, and what's some of the basics we could have to understand it better?
One of the biggest misconception is that whatever it is, NFT, crypto, blockchain, is a scam automatically. No, this is an amazing technology. What is called Web3, for example, is something that is fascinating if you want. I can give a very short explanation of the evolution of web from Web 0, 1, 2, and 3. So when internet began at the beginning, there was no UI like a browser to see it, right, if you want. When the first browser came along, uh, you could navigate from a website to another. So it was very passive, like pretty much you need to absorb what a server tells you. And with this hyperlink text, which is the HTML, you can click a link and go from a website to another. So on the first website they mention about a tree, you click, you go to the website they talk all about the trees, etc., right? And this was a passive, like a sort of television, if you want, consumption of information from the internet. Web 1. Web 2 start having customized content. So you go to a website, you put your username and your password, and the content that you see is just made for you. So it goes in your news website, and the news is customized to the kind of news that you like to see, more politics, more, but every website you go, you may have your own account, your own username and password. So you are a different person everywhere you go. So you have a different account. Web3, thanks to technology like blockchain, you control who you are. So when you sign in a website, you are the same person that sign in on the other website, because you don't sign in anymore with a username and a password, but just proving your identity, which means that this website can look in the blockchain what you have attached to you and use it, which means, for example, when the big NFT of the Monkey Board Yachts Monkey Club were selling, a jewelry company make a piece of jewelry that can be purchased only by people that own one of those NFTs. How did they do? When you go to the checkout, you need to make a digital signature, a cryptographic signature, with the account where in the same account there is the monkey. They can check if it's true, and in this case, you're allowed to buy the jewelry, making the jewelry much more, unique and difficult to have. This means that today in a video game, say there is a video game, you buy a golden sword and is attached to you as a user. So when I log into another game, they can see that I have the golden sword. And if they want, they can let me use it in their game. So if I have an avatar that is wearing a green jacket, blonde hair, etc., wherever I go and I log in, they can go see my avatar and represent me inside the game with the same identity, with the same look, etc. So this is Web3. Web3 is the place where we bring with us our information. I want to take appointment with the dentist in a certain place using Web3, and dentists leave let me attach to my identity the X-ray that I took the last time, for example, I can authorize this new dentist to see them. So they can see that are cryptographically signed by another authorized dentist, so they are authentic X-ray, they are not cheated on or whatever, not been
Mhm.
tampered, and they can use them because I bring with me my piece of information. Like classic when you register a new phone number, a bank account, you need to give your address to all these people, like a driver license and so on. If you change address, you need to start communicate the new address to 20 different parties. In Web3, you change it one time because the address stays with you. And when it's changed, these people is informed that it's changed. They can come collect if they're authorized. They can see the new address that you have. So you don't need anymore to bring the information to them, but then can come to take the information from your identity. There is a Web3 identity. So this is
Now,
Web3.
does that Web3 open up even more uh, big government can see everything on one place about you, or the opposite with more lockdown control for of your identity?
Depends how the systems are implemented, obviously, So data are encrypted, they cannot be read because it's a mathematical encryption, but metadata are open, so certain things can be understood through metadata. It's really a matter of how the protocols are designed, how the system are designed. They can bring 100% of privacy, or they can expose information which maybe need to be exposed, for example.
So,
But
in the future, if we get the chip in our put in under our arm here, then we'll have the NFT chip, and then we can just walk into a hospital and they'll have.
And well, yeah, the idea is that one, right? Is like a decentralized storage of information that allow the repository of, and it's free, means nobody can stop somebody else to attach information to your identity. So the hospital can just say, okay, this has been something, and they are the one that own the information attached to you, and they can give it to somebody else if it is authorized, or they pass the ownership and control to you. You know,
Yeah,
at least it gives more possibilities. True, if it's done well, it's amazing. If it's done bad, it's scary. You know?
yeah, right, right, right. Very interesting. Yeah, there's so much of this technology that can be used in for hopefully it can be used to eliminate a lot of identity theft and so many things that are easy to do currently that can hopefully get locked down.
Yeah,
Uh,
with identity for sure is the best route to go. It's 100%. But if you think a lot of government, I don't know if in the United States this is done. A lot of government give the cryptographic signature to their citizen, so their ID card itself has a private key, if you want, inside that allow people to sign. I have mine here. I divorced from my wife in Italy from Indonesia, signing the document with my lawyer with my cryptographic. This remove the need of a notary to certify your signature rather than because the cryptographic signature is guaranteed, So obviously that if this kind of system is not distributed properly, if they send to you in an envelope the keys, the password, the pins all in one place, and somebody steal the envelope, then they can sign in your behalf. So there is always, and this happened. So there is always many parts in a technology, and so all the aspects need to be done properly.
Many of us entrepreneurs, we struggle to bring our technology visions to market. What lessons have you learned about bringing innovation with real world adoption that you might share? I mean, obviously, most of us don't have the technical depth that you have and stuff, but any
No.
lessons have you learned that bringing innovation to the real world adoption?
In fact, I think that more technical that somebody has, more difficulties this step because when you give for granted an obvious understanding on some technology, you're gonna talk with somebody that is actually not prepared to understand what you're saying to them, right? So putting your feet in the shoes of the counterpart is the key. People don't care about the technology. People care about the advantage that they can have by using the technology, as simple as it is. So if I can study a potential prospect client, and I know that they lose $2 million per year due to mistakes done by humans or whatever else, and I can bring them a solution that reduces these losses of 80%. It doesn't matter if it's a software that I did in an afternoon or I spent 6 years with 20 engineers to do. The value to them is the 80% less losses that this software give them. So in every case, a lot of words are fascinating, help with marketing, because now you can even buy underwear powered by AI because AI is everywhere, right? Because it's the buzzword of the moment. 5 years ago, you can buy underwear with blockchain in the same manner. I just think that this is when you want to convince masses of investing, purchasing, or doing something that if they had a good brain, they will never do anyway. On the other side, if you go to somebody that need to spend the serious money, they need to just see the practical advantage or betterness that they have by using whatever things we're selling them, solution and
Yeah.
things. So
Well, we're running out of time here for you. Thank you for being with us. But let me ask you a few quick questions, see that are important to me. For example, I mean, you've traveled internationally across Europe, Asia, and beyond. How do you think how does culture play into the way technology gets adopted around the world?
yeah, this is a very interesting point and a good question. Depends again on the kind of technology, because a culture that is used to obey everything without discussing, they're gonna start doing whatever they're told to do, in even when they have the option not to, because culturally that's how they function. The culture that is suspicious of everything. Look, in Italy, nobody's using ChatGPT because whatever is being proposed by the government to the citizen is never a good thing to do. So whenever something come, but strangely, I talk with a lot of friends. Is now I'm not interested. You're crazy. You're going to be left behind, because people is afraid AI is taking your job. It's not true. Who's taking your job is somebody else that is using AI, right? So
Yes, exactly.
and it really the culture makes a huge difference. I appreciate like the United States, where people is really keen to try. There is something interesting, they jump in, but with the plus and the minus that everything brings in different culture. But yeah.
Good. Okay. Another question. See if we can kind of discuss for the average business owner listening today. What's one practical way they can start preparing for these changes AI and blockchain are bringing? Is there anything we can get ahead of the curve on and start using for our own businesses?
Absolutely, that's absolutely important. We don't want to end up like Blockbuster. We don't want to end up like Kodak. Those huge people that didn't see the change coming, and they thought that they could sit in the comfort chair that they were using before. I am from Venice, Italy. In Venice, Italy, you have a quantity of tourists that is insane. And photography shop were developing roles for people. They had this big photo machine, Homer Simpson pressing the buttons once per roll, and they were making money. When digital cameras are coming out, one only photographer invested in computers and things to print from digital camera, and in fact is the only one that survived, because he managed to see the change. He understood that what he was doing for 40 years doesn't mean he's going to go ahead for another 40. So emerging technology can be passing by and being forgotten, but sometimes they actually drive a huge change. If somebody doesn't pay attention, can be really be left behind. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I see on the back of your wall there, from the big floppies, the smaller floppies, and so forth.
Correct.
Yeah, and now we have, in one
There
little,
is no more, just exactly,
yeah,
just the
one little
small
chip,
micros.
more information than you could possibly ever put on 1,000 of those things. Uh, what excites you most about the future of technology like this, and at the same time, what concerns you the most?
I love communication, telecommunication since I was a kid. I like to pick up the phone and call the other side of the planet. Now we are doing a video token, we are on the two opposite sides of the planet. This is exciting to me. And this moves towards space as well. I'm sure that not long from now, there's going to be people start colonizing Mars, and will be interesting to see how we can communicate with them, because as of today we don't have a technology that can permit a real-time talk in such a long distance. But I think that what excites me is to see what is going to be done in that direction. I just, and what scares me is the bad use of technology done by people. That's what, there are government that are investing in technology not for good ends.
Yeah. Well, folks, if you're watching us on YouTube or Rumble, I'm showing Roberto Capodieci's LinkedIn page. If you want to follow him, look him up on LinkedIn. In the show notes below, we'll have a link to get his free book or paid book on Amazon if you want to throw some money his way, which I'm sure he could use. We can all use a little bit more. And so, guys, go check out Roberto Capodieci, with that kind of a last name, I say you are probably like the mafioso of the entire. You are the
Who
head of
knows?
the entire capo of the blockchain
Uh,
world. Um, Roberto, thank you so much for being on the show with us. Do you have any final message you'd like to give entrepreneurs out there that are moving forward in the business world, and what they should do next to stay up to date on things going on within the blockchain opportunities?
yeah, I would always suggest to pay attention to emerging technology, invest a minimum amount in R&D. If it's just even just a brainstorming with some expert in the field, so to see and understand the opportunity that there are, because sometimes opportunity and the dangers that there are as well. Money well spent, I say.
Right, right. Well, Roberto, thank you again. This has been a fascinating conversation and educational for me on how blockchain can be used in so many different areas of our world other than just cryptos. Uh, Folks, if you like the content we brought you today, please do me a favor and make sure you give us a like and share. Well, don't forget to subscribe, but then grab the link and share this with another entrepreneur or anyone who might be interested in technology, anybody interested in growing their business and learning more about the tools that blockchain can provide us in growing our businesses and changing our society. Um, Thanks again, Roberto. And folks, we'll see you on the next episode of the Marketing Boost Solutions podcast. Thank you. Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Boost Solutions podcast with your hosts, Captain Marco Torres. Now it's on you. Take the next step now. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com for more on how you can wow, delight, and surprise your clients with the most amazing draw card on the planet. So stay thirsty, my friends. Stay thirsty for knowledge. See you next time.